This is the 511 plus spade bit. So to put a hole into a container for draining the water out, for instance, this is probably one of the least challenging methods to do because you don't have to crawl inside the tank. Everything is going to be done from the outside. This is just a regular 1 1/4 inch spade bit. Some folks are much more at ease with a spade bit as opposed to a hole saw. They're a little bit easier to control sometimes. You do need to be extremely mindful that once you've drilled your hole, that your piece doesn't fall inside the tank with a spade bit. And you also want to make sure that the burr that might be created, or that raised lip that might be created, that you take, if it's plastic, you take like a razor knife, for instance, or maybe a file. We don't want to make the hole bigger. We just want to round out that front edge so that the rubber gasket will sit flush on the surface. Any raised area is likely to cause some leakage out from behind because it's not sitting flat. We refer to this as the threaded seal. And it's an EPDM rubber gasket. And we find also that it's much easier to install, particularly in plastic with a little bit of soapy water. You may have to squeeze it down just a little bit in order to insert it into the hole and push nice and snug. This triangular portion on the top of this threaded seal we call for the placement of the thumb on here, because you've used a little bit of soapy water. When you go to install your quarter turn ball valve, it's going to want to spin too. So now we've got a place to put our thumb to hold that gasket in place while you spin your quarter turn ball valve into place. One of the things to keep in mind with this ball valve is that when you look at it closely, you're going to see one side has the threads further apart and the other side much closer together. So the ones that are further apart are garden hose threads, and as the name implies, that's the side you're going to spin your garden hose onto once you're done. And the other side has them closer together, and that's what's going to allow you to screw into the threaded seal. Now, the thing to keep in mind, and the reason that it works well, is that as you screw the ball valve, the quarter turn ball valve, into your threaded seal, is that it expands the threaded seal into place. That's why we want a nice clean hole for this to rest into without any raised burrs, because as you screw this in, it expands into place and gives you your watertight seal between the tank and the gasket so you don't get leakage around it. So don't put caulk, don't put Teflon tape. These things work extremely well. Push it into place, screw it in, and you're golden. So again, this is the 511 plus spade bit, and that's a simple kit for putting a drain into the bottom of your container.